Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the From a Certain Point of View breakdown of the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. I am Josh, one half of the From a Certain Point of View podcast, and I am so excited to be talking about this new trailer that debuted today from Sony Pictures. And I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. Some of you might already know that. I love the originals. I love both Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Was not a fan of the 2016 Ghostbusters. It just didn't, to me, it didn't feel like Ghostbusters. It tried too hard to be funny, and to me, it just wasn't funny, and it just didn't feel like my kind of Ghostbusters. So I'm very excited about Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is directed by Jason Reitman, who is Ivan Reitman's son, and who was actually the director of the first two films. And so I just want to go ahead and break down this trailer. I did watch it earlier, and I will say I was emotionally impacted by this trailer. I definitely got goosebumps. I got some tears in my eyes, a lot of nostalgia, gave me the feels. I love the first trailer that was released, months ago. The clip that they released with the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Men in the grocery store with Paul Rudd. I didn't know how I felt about that clip. But this trailer has really gotten me excited about this movie again. And it feels a lot like the first trailer. It even uses some of the same shots, but I think it expands upon those shots and kind of lets us know more of what's going on with the story, which we'll get into as I kind of break down the trailer. So let's kind of go through the trailer here and break it down a little bit. So it opens with just the setting of, seems like this town that this family's going to. It seems like they've moved to this town, and we get our look at this family. Phoebe's the girl. Carrie Coon, of course, is in this scene with Paul Rudd. She's the mother. Finn Wolfhard is also in this film, and he was in Stranger Things. And if you remember from Stranger Things season 2, he actually wore the Ghostbusters suit in the Halloween episode. So the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, I could see him as a Ghostbuster. Maybe we'll see that here. I'm not sure, but it seems like this film is going to do a good job of setting up its characters and having character development. I'm already feeling that even just from the trailer. So I think that's huge because, we're having a cast of new characters here with the older ones returning in some capacity, but it's going to be really important to establish these characters, and I'm already feeling attachments to them even with the trailer.
She's an awkward, nerdy kid.
Maybe a new home could be an opportunity to start fresh.
So it seems like we have the daughter who's kind of the nerd and maybe getting picked on at school, and especially being the new kid. We know that can be tough. And then Finn Wolfhard is playing the older kid who seems to be making friends pretty quickly, as we'll see in the trailer. So it's just kind of setting up what's going on with this family. They don't have a lot of money, and it seems as though their grandpa, who happens to be a Ghostbuster, left them this house and some other things that we'll discover here.
I just wish she'd get into some trouble.
There's still time.
What are you doing here in Somerville anyway?
We're completely broke, and our grandfather left us this creepy old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere.
Your father wasn't much of a homemaker. He could.
So here's the return of Annie Potts, of course, in the role of Janine Melnitz, who was, of course, the secretary for the Ghostbusters. And it's good seeing her back. She's among the cast list here on IMDb I'm looking at. Has Sigourney Weaver returning as Dana Barrett, Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Raymond Stantz, Ernie Hudson, Winston Zeddemore, Annie Potts, Janine Melnitz. So we have a lot of returning cast, and we get to see, Annie Potts' character here, which is so nice to see her return, talking about Egon, Spengler, the grandfather of these kids and the father of Carrie Coon's character. So it's really cool to see, this is very deeply rooted in, you know, the originals and the mythology of the originals.
How did he keep the power on? You're saying he left us nothing?
Well, I wouldn't say nothing.
Was it with the station wagon?
It's the only one that had an engine.
So we see McKenna Grace's character Phoebe's she discovers the trap, and they discover the car as well. And Finn Wolfhard, who plays Trevor, he's trying to fix the car up, and they take it out for a spin, having a blast. I love all this nostalgia here for sure.
What is happening here?
Somehow, a town with no fault lines is shaking on a daily basis.
Maybe it's the apocalypse. Be gone too much.
So a couple things here, you know, if we go back a little bit, we see that it seems like there's some spirits escaping from this, you know, mine shaft or whatever it is down there. And I'm guessing, you know, maybe Egon had kept all of these spirits contained, and now they're either accidentally released or something's going on here. Maybe we see the return of a lot of different spirits from the first one, or the first two in this film as well. We see Paul Rudd's character also, who it seems like might be the teacher in this story, and you know, and he's kind of discovering along with the kids what's going on here. And I think Paul Rudd is a great choice to be in this role too. I love him. I think he's hilarious, but he can also do some serious stuff too. And I like, you know, the original Ghostbusters. One thing I really love about it is, while it was funny and it had great comedy, it took itself seriously. You know, I feel like the Ghostbusters in 2016 kind of, again, didn't really take itself seriously, tried too hard to be funny. You know, the jokes it went for didn't work for me, but this is what Ghostbusters is all about, you know, taking itself seriously, but also being funny. So that's good to see here. And we also see that it's coming out in this Thanksgiving. So this movie releases in November. And here we go. We'll pick it back up here with them taking the car for the spin here.
Be gone too much here for a reason.
Are you troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night? Do you experience feelings of dread in your basement or attic? Have you or any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost?
So I gotta say, first of all, the look on Paul Rudd's face in this scene is priceless, and as he's seeing all these miniature Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, and I gotta say, in the context of what seems to be going on here, with the ghost being released and, you know, a return of some of these spirits, like, this is starting to grow on me, and I'm starting to appreciate this a little bit more, for sure. So yeah, it seems like we're gonna see a lot of those ghosts coming back, which is a cool idea. And I'm wondering if this looks very familiar to the first Ghostbusters with, you know, with everything that happened with, like, the Zool character. Could this be a return of that Zool character? You know, it looks very reminiscent of that. So that's kind of where my speculation goes, is maybe we're seeing the return of all these spirits, and Zool, Gozer, you know, all those types of things. I think that would be pretty interesting.
You guys hear that?
Something's coming.
The whole city to The Walking Dead.
So we see in this scene, like, that the dog, as they called it in the first Ghostbusters, this like gargoyle type creature, is chasing after Paul Rudd's character. So again, we're seeing these familiar spirits and creatures come back here. So I think it's really cool that we get to see the kids in action here. You know, McKenna Grace's character, I think it's Phoebe. Phoebe is using the proton pack, and it looks like they're catching Slimer or some version of a Slimer type character. If it is Slimer, it looks a little weird. I don't know what that's all about, but maybe it's just from the trailer. I don't know. We'll see with the finished product, but I think this looks like a really cool scene. And one thing I just thought about as I was watching this, you know, I bet the Phoebe character was working on that trap and putting wheels on it and actually making it something that they can use out on the road in that way, which is cool that she's kind of innovating the technology a little bit. So, you know, we're going to get to see a lot of nostalgia, like old school Ghostbuster stuff, but then they're bringing it into the present. But one of the things I really love about this trailer and just the aesthetic and the look and the tone of this film is it looks like it's, you know, filmed in like 35 millimeter. It just has that look to it that, you know, they used film for this in the filming process. And, you know, it just has that kind of, it could be an older movie feel to it, but it also is current. It feels current at the same time, if that makes sense. So we get the title, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then we get the phone number. And I think this is really cool that we see Ray's Occult again, which is a callback to Ghostbusters 2. And, you know, Dan Aykroyd is there by the phone, picking up the phone. And, you know, I think that's just so cool.
We're closed.
And of course he says we're closed. So, you know, from this trailer, again, I think it's a great trailer. A lot of nostalgia. Again, it really got me in the feels and everything. And I think what we're going to see here is I think we're going to see some new characters that are really established here, that we're really going to grow to care about this family and these kids and Paul Rudd's character. I'm already, you know, enjoying these characters from what I've seen. But we're also going to see some returning characters in different capacities. We got to see Annie Potts' character actually in this trailer, and Dan Aykroyd's character Ray Stantz in this trailer as well, even if he's just picking up a phone and we hear his voice. But he's kind of, you know, he was always involved in the writing process, and I think he's involved in the writing process on this film. I think he has writing credit here, and he's always been really involved in that process of creating Ghostbusters. You know, so I'm really having a lot of faith in Jason Reitman, and Ivan Reitman, I'm sure, is involved, and Dan Aykroyd is involved. So I really hope we get to see these characters. You know, I hope they're calling out to these old Ghostbusters and saying, like, we need you to come back one last time. And then maybe that's the end of it, or maybe they pass the torch on to a new generation of Ghostbusters. You know, I don't know, depending on how, I might want to see that depending on how good this film is and if they can pull it off. But it could either be a good way to say goodbye to these characters, or it could be also a passing of the torch, or both. So I am really excited about Ghostbusters Afterlife. Really looking forward to this. Let me know in the comments, did you see anything that I didn't? Were there any other references? I know there's a lot of nods to original Ghostbusters stuff. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you're excited or what you think of this trailer. And stay tuned to the From a Certain Point of View podcast for your news, reviews, and points of view.